Welcome one, welcome all to Pit Road Productions. It is time for the second round of the Washington DC Region SCCA Virtual Racing League, fueling motorsports passion since 1948. We are at the region's home circuit for round 2 of this season, Summit Point Raceway, joining us here today at a track that is actually quite familiar to all of us and should be familiar to every single iRacing racer out there. Bringing it to you live here on YouTube and Twitch, whichever platform you're coming from. We say hello to you. I'm Reese Gardner. Daniel Zippy Salmon is alongside me in the commentary box, as well as Danielle Bouchard, who joins us for this particular round. Zippy, this is going to be an interesting one. The season started last week, of course, and we had a very frenetic race, a big field, only a 30-minute race. We could barely keep up with the action. Now we go to a track that's even tighter than round 1.
Yeah, I've got to admit, Reese, it's going to be an absolute belter. Myself, this is one of those seasons where I literally looked at the track schedule and gone, this is 100% our drive. Actually, we're going to my home track. Literally, not just Canada, but my home, my real home, I guess you could say. Depends on how you look at it. It's up for interpretation, ladies and gentlemen. But we're going to Cadwell Park next week as well. At Summit Point, definitely one of the more familiar tracks. Don't get me wrong, there is different layouts. This one being my preferred choice, ladies and gentlemen. And I do think it's going to be one that's going to be quite interesting. The GT4 car, I'd say pretty well suited to this. A GT3 and above, maybe a little bit too much car for the venue, which seems crazy, but just my own personal opinion, Reese. But I'll tell you what we should do. Let's give the young buck a little bit of a chance here. Daniel, what do you think about this car track combo?
Well, Summit Point is one of those tracks that is easy to learn, but hard to master per se. And I mean, anything faster than a GT4, I 100% agree with that, as driving this track and anything faster, as week 13 has shown me, is an absolute nightmare. But a GT4 car, being that they are production-based, should be a pretty good aspect to the track. And well, it's also a very tight track. So it'll be close, it'll be difficult to pass, just how I like it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a very tough circuit, deceptively tough. It's one of the first road tracks you drive on in iRacing, but plenty of pitfalls and foibles around this place that can catch you out. And it's one of many tracks that we go to for this season of WDCR. We were at Virginia International Raceway last week. Next week, we go to Cadwell Park, then Mid-Ohio for round 4, a special event for October the 30th. Details yet to be decided for that one. Suzuka is round 6, followed by Manicourt, little hop over to France, and then Belgium for Spa-Francorchamps, round 8, going down to Australia at the Bend for round 9, and finishing out the season at Sonoma and Watkins Glen back in the United States. It's a fantastic schedule, and of course they are running GT4 cars around these tracks. I actually, Zippy, wanted to mention I got a bit of GT4 running in yesterday, so I would say that I'm a little more familiar with how the tire temperature builds up on these cars now, so that should help things out a little bit here.
Well, absolutely, Reese, and certainly I'm a little bit jealous here. I've not really been getting into the sim too much lately. I've been spending too much time broadcasting, not enough time driving. Honestly, still having a hard time getting used to a direct drive wheel. Would you believe it, ladies and gentlemen, I actually prefer my old Fanatec, which is, I'm probably the only person on the planet, but I think one thing that is underestimated here, and it's actually something that P1 Sim Sports mentioned today in one of their posts as well. Let's give Kevin a little bit of a shout out. He says that you've really got to set up your rig, set up your pedals, and not just that, set up the equipment. It's not just a simple case of just buying the gear and going. Not if you want to get the most out of it. But right now, we've got Colin Denner here. Reese, can you give us an onboard lap with this gentleman?
Absolutely. So, hard braking into turn 1. It's a little bit faster than it looks the first turn at Summit. Out there, continuing to turn right down the short straight towards what is technically turn 3. This is a passing opportunity in some places, but you've got to be really brave to do it. It's fast, and you always get oversteer on the exit in a rear-wheel drive car. Got to be careful of the sand. Then descending downhill here, trying your best to stabilize the car as you get on the brakes for this switchback section, which is the newer addition to the circuit. Bringing it round the right-hander. You've got to get on the power as soon as you can and keep the car rotating through this next right-hander. Flat out through here in most cars, maybe a little bit of a lift in Denner's Mustang, and then rounding out onto the back straight, technically the back straight, towards the final corner, which is a fearsome turn indeed. Pit entries there off to the right. Got to try and nail the apex. It's a thin curb on the apex. But you can use all of that tarmac there on the exit to maximize your run onto the start-finish straight. Again, Summit Point is fast, it is rapid, it is over in about a minute and 12 seconds at the front of the field, Zippy.
Yeah, definitely one of the shorter circuits here, Reese. And I gotta be honest, it's one of those where getting around it is not too difficult, but getting around it quickly, it's all in the details, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it's a track that does encourage off tracks. This particular spot just here, as Colin has just demonstrated. Thank you very much, Colin. On demand, ladies and gentlemen, on demand. And indeed, as is Pit Road Productions, if you're not watching live, by all means, tune in later on. But sure, hit that subscribe button. If not, join us on Twitch. But Reese does indeed make a very valid point. We should probably get to thanking these sponsors here. I believe him and Daniel have got them all ready to go.
Yes, indeed. I'll start things off with OG Racing, the official motorsport safety gear and equipment supplier to the Washington DC region, staffed by racers for racers. OG stocks everything from helmets, driving suits, shoes and gloves, seats, data systems, and top quality brake pads from PFC, Hawk, and Paget. With over 35 years of supporting racers, OG Racing has earned a reputation for providing exceptional customer service in the industry, staffed by an expert team that ensures you have the gear you need to go fast and stay safe. Visit their 1,200 square foot warehouse in Sterling, Virginia. Thank you very much to OG Racing. Next up, I believe, Radial Tire Company, Daniel.
Since 1976, the Radial Tire Company has proudly served the DC area, providing quality tires and exceptional service. Renowned as the premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tires and wheel applications, they stock tires from top manufacturers ranging from trucks to sports cars and racing machines. Their mission is to maximize your vehicle's potential on the road and the track.
For over 30 years, RP Performance has been at the heart of racing as a neighbor to Summit Point and standing out as the premier race car shop specializing in street and track Mazdas. In addition to track support and transport, RP is a full-service shop, helping drivers with their racing and other track event needs. Known for their helpful attitude, RP works diligently to get cars back on track, ensuring positive experience for all at all Summit Point events. RP has accrued many wins and championships within various classes under the RP Performance banner.
Belmont Classic Cars is a family-owned dealership located in eastern Ohio, specializing in classic American muscle cars for the 1960s and 1970s. They pride themselves on selling iconic rides and only offer cars they would want to add to their collection. Established in 2017, the owners, Andy and Dana Mistak, inherited their passions for cars from their fathers, avid enthusiasts of Chevy and Ford vehicles. Outside of the family business, the entire family has been involved in racing for motocross, trophy trucks, and their new endeavor of road racing.
Grand Touring Enterprises, last but not least, is an internationally recognized full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland, with a mission of keeping legends in motion. Their commitment to classic vehicles spans service, restoration, secure climate-controlled storage, sales, and consignment. Grand Touring also offers full collection-level consultation and management services alongside concourse-level detailing. Their focus is on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles and ensuring that the driving experience is equally spectacular and authentic. Thanks very much, Grand Touring, Belmont Classic Cars, RP Performance, Radial Tire Company, and OG Racing in that reverse order. All fantastic supporters, sponsors, and partners of the Washington DC region of the Sports Car Club of America, which runs this sim racing league for its members. Now, into the meat of things. Qualifying is upon us. The drivers all have 15 minutes to set 4 laps around Summit Point and set their times for the grid. It is once again 28 cars in the server here, and they will all be fighting hard for that pole position. At the moment, DJ Alessandrini is on top by 0.3 of a second, and I get the feeling that there's a bit more time in it for everybody else.
Well, certainly we do have the biggest fan of this gentleman here. It's Ken Housel, ladies and gentlemen. And in the chat, we do indeed have Amy Housel. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't met Amy, she is indeed a potent driver as well. I'm hoping to see her on the sim very shortly, along with another bunch of ladies joining her as well. Very much would love to see that here on Pit Road Productions. Amy, we are indeed going to have to get that sorted out. But it was also a star in one of the SCCA promotional videos as well. So not just a great driver, an actress as well, ladies and gentlemen. So absolutely fantastic stuff. As Ken Housel currently there in 4th place, I do have to wonder, can he get a little bit more out of that Mustang? Franz Hansen actually having, that's got to be his best qualifying I've ever seen from that gentleman, Reese. He's currently there in P3.
Yeah, certainly. It's looking very good in that number 44. But for the moment, it looks like the majority of drivers have finished their lap runs. They're up the front of the field anyway. Thomas Lathrop getting ready to come across the line here. Currently sits P7 on a 113.3, and looks like that lap was one that wasn't that much faster. That is his final lap there. So all done for Thomas Lathrop. Zach Rubin, meanwhile, down in 22nd position, looking for a bit more out of this one. He is coming down the back straight towards the final corner in his mid-engine McLaren 570S, which should be a good car around Summit Point. See if he can break into the top 20 with this one. 113.8 is his time to beat, and it's a 114.81 that he then sets. Looks like he got an off track on that lap, though, and that's something we have to think about in terms of iRacing. Daniel, if we can bring you into this. The off-track 1X is dreaded around here. There is just grass and gravel lining the racetrack. Got to be so careful to keep your cars within those bounds.
Oh, yeah, and I can tell you from personal experience, being that this is one of the tracks I have one of my few wins at, getting a 1X is so easy, as you can see right there from, I don't know who that is. I can't really see. There's no number on that car, so either way, you can get a 1X just like that, and it is so hard to do, and in qualifying, that completely invalidates your entire lap. One tiny millisecond, and it's all gone.
Yeah, certainly is, and with only 2.5 minutes remaining in the session, it would appear that that's the majority of drivers completely done with their qualifying times. So we've got a little bit of time to chill here on Pit Road Productions and think a bit more about the race to come. So we've got a 30-minute race coming up here, a single 30-minute race with no pit stop required, I believe. So there's certainly a big opportunity for DJ Alessandrini to get a massive lead, much like he did at Virginia International Raceway last round, Zippy.
Yeah, very much so. DJ, when he gets in the car, he is a titan among drivers, ladies and gentlemen. But it's just having a quick look here. I do see a couple of names who missed round one, but they have indeed returned. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Kovac rejoins us, as does Kevin Zhu. Now, I can remember Kevin rocking that blue M2, ladies and gentlemen. I can remember Kovac as well. It's great to see these guys have indeed returned. Chris Harp's made his way back as well, with Louis Alessi as well. I remember those guys battling last season. Mike Leader, I got to be honest, he's a bit further down in the qualifying standings today than I would expect. He's down in 21st right now. Anthony Montello, again, rejoins us. I'm pretty sure. Yes, indeed we do. Michael Montello returns as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the brothers are back in town.
Lovely stuff indeed. Fantastic to see. Well, keeping an eye on those qualifying times, we will go through the grid when we get our chance to, once we flick the session over to the race. But it's looking like quite close gaps, especially between second and third. Diego Del Real and Franz Hansen are only separated by 0.03 of a second, so it's going to be a very close race between those two guys. And I only see 1/1000th of a second separating Thomas Lathrop and Dylan Newhard for 7th and 8th. It's frankly crazy, Daniel, just how close the times get around a track as short as this.
Oh, yeah, and that's just balance of performance. Remember, some of these cars are mid-engine, some of them are front-engine. They have different power to supply. Some are turbocharged, some are naturally aspirated. That's I guess, the crux of the entire motto behind modern GT racing, is that everything is equal, and trying to equal out those those different cars, and well, it seems to be working on a track like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looks like we are just in time for qualifying to end and for the session to tick over here, so we can go through the grid. DJ Alessandrini once again taking pole position there on a 112.5. Diego Del Real is second place alongside him. Franz Hansen and Ken Hausel are your second row, with Colin Denner taking fifth place. Jake King is alongside him in P6. Then we have Thomas Lathrop and Dylan Newhart, again, only separated by 1,000th or so of a second. Adam Kobach and Kevin Zippy will round out our top 10.
As we look there at P11, we're going to have Andrew Lunsford alongside the one and only Mr. Brian Cowan. Wally is going to be there in P13 with Camden Gruber in 14th, with Thomas Toomey taking up 15th alongside one of the legends here, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Harp in 16th. Louis Alessi will take 17th with Chris Heidemann there in 18th. Let me scroll the grid for you. And in 19th, we're going to have William Brunner alongside the one and only Mr. Will Robbins, closing out your top 20.
Starting 21st in that throwback British touring car paint scheme, BMW Mike Leader alongside Zach Rubin to his outside in the McLaren. Tom Radford and Trenton McMillian follow on the row after that. In the next row, Peter Lauzon and Anthony Montello, followed by Timothy Homan and Charles Miller. 29th is Cooper Van Horn, and Will Long rounds out the top 30.
Interestingly, Anthony Montello says he was performing some tech support during qualifying, so his time was not representative there. We'll see how far up he can get. 31st place is Liam Parks with Jason Rode alongside. Cameron Guth and Jin Huang are going to start 33rd and 34th. 35th is Kyle Lanunziata. And then we have Jonathan Crane starting alongside him with Michael Montello and Jeff Barlow rounding out our 38 car field here. It is a tight track, to say the least. At least you have some space down the straights in the penultimate corners to space things out. But these GT4 cars are, well, they have quite the footprint. They're not exactly Formula Fords or Formula Vs that usually race around this circuit in official sessions. It's going to be a tough one, Daniel, especially with that long run to turn one. I'm expecting Alessandrini to get a jump at least, but everyone's going to be trying to pass each other into this first corner.
Oh, yeah. I've been in pretty large grids on this track. I did a production car challenge race around here. I was scared for my whole life around it, especially because I was in the MX-5, which is the slowest class in that. So not that much space to let the GR86s and M2s by. But in GT4 cars that are all relatively similar pace, it shouldn't be that much of a problem unless there are slow drivers at the back, which, I mean, you never know. It's a 38 car grid and it's very tight. I mean, I'm hoping nothing goes wrong, but it's a tight track. There's a lot of cars, and those Mustangs are pretty big.
They are indeed, and they also have a fair amount of straight line speed. Zippy, we're seeing once again Dylan Newhard's paint here. I'm not exactly sure who he's got on the car this time, but he does love coming to the fore with some faces on his car.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure who that one is either, Reese. I think it's the first time, though, we've not been sure on who it is. Anybody in the chat figure out who that is?
Yeah, make sure to let us know. Regardless, Newhard is in the top 10 and looking to improve. There's a few drivers, especially in those Mustangs in the top 10, who did not have a good run last week, got involved in some lap 1 shenanigans. So let's see how they go as we move on through to the start of this race. Just one corner to go behind the pace car and we'll get things going. Diego Del Real in that very striking Red Bull liveried BMW will be pressuring DJ Alessandrini as much as he can, but the one lap gap between those guys is about 0.3 of a second, so Diego's going to have to hope that he has got the pace in the race. Now it's up to DJ Alessandrini to get things started here. He has control of the field. Probably going to wait for the green flag here. The start-finish line is after the pit exit at Summit Point, so we wait a little bit and then he puts the power down just in time for the green flag to fly, and we are away for round 2 of the WDCR SCCA Virtual Racing League here at Summit Point. Alessandrini covers off the braking zone on the outside, but Del Real sneaks up the inside of him. We've got cars in the wall at the back and absolutely flying. A huge smash that we just saw there. And, well, there was an attempt by Diego Del Real, but we see that there's some pressure now being put on the both of them from Ken Housel, who's moved up into third, Zippy.
Yeah, it looked like he was having an absolutely incredible bump draft earlier on, as it indeed looks like it's getting a bit spicy back in the mid-pack, ladies and gentlemen. Let's check in here with Kevin Zhu. This is definitely one of the sketchier places to go too wide, ladies and gentlemen. Not really a lot of grip on the outside of that corner. And the thing is, as well, you're all kind of accordion in. You're going to see a couple of people here putting a nose on the inside, and that's exactly what Kobach's doing. He's back, and he's in the Porsche Cayman, ladies and gentlemen. The old rival of Kevin Zhu right behind him with that beautiful Aston Martin GT4.
Fantastic job there, and looks like the Aston's just spun coming out of the corner there. I saw him disappear, and Kevin Zhu is down and out at the moment. Looks like he's avoided too much damage, Daniel, but unfortunately he's all the way at the back of the grid.
Yeah, it's easy to lose. If you just get a little bit too enthusiastic on the throttle through there, you can go spinning. And yeah, you didn't clip a curb or anything, so I think you just got a bit too enthusiastic on the throttle, because that corner can be very deceptive.
Yeah, it looks like the traction control might have kicked in on the Aston Martin there. So Zhu will be down in 33rd position at the moment. Meanwhile, this is what we saw in the background on lap 1. Contact between Tom Radford and Trenton McMillian. The both of them sent spinning in the air, Zippy. That is a huge crash.
That wasn't a crash, that was gymnastics. I mean, don't get me wrong, not what you want from a race, but incredibly entertaining, as it sounds like, indeed, oh dear, someone else has indeed just had an unfortunate fate. Let's try and find it.
Yeah, so Kevin Zhu just passing them. That's Will Robbins in the Mustang that has unfortunately come a cropper. Let's see if... Oh, okay. So things were getting a little interesting there at the back, and both cars spinning in front of him. Wojtek Hajduczek getting involved there and getting spun around, and the number 32 Cayman. So that's not ideal for him. Not exactly sure who the BMW was there, but things definitely got worse for Will Robbins from there. Cameron Guth also with his fair share of issues, Daniel, as we ride on board with him through the hairpin section. Looks like he just missed his braking point.
Yep, just missed your braking point or understeered. It's so easy to do in that section. I mean, even in a rear-wheel drive car, the MX-5 has a habit of getting loose there, which is the complete opposite of understeer, but it happens. I've done it myself numerous times.
Yeah, as have I, as have we all. Well, Kevin Zhu is going to try and make a run forward from there, as it looks like Dylan Newhart is the next car to have some problems here on the replay. He must have caught the grass or something like that on the exit of the third last corner there. Fortunately, a little bit of side of the track to get himself turned around, and he ends up back in 27th position. Zhu is already making up spots, back up to 25th position. So let's see, Zippy, in the space of 30 minutes, how much he can make up as we check back in with our leaders. DJ Alessandrini starting to break away from Diego Del Real, but he himself is breaking away from third. Looks like it's a two-horse race up the front.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, power to this guy. Nothing against DJ, but I'm honestly rooting for Diego to actually give him an extra bit of pressure here, because don't get me wrong. Oh, that's not going to help. That's a connection issue. There we go. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. As, nobody's really been able to keep on to him yet this season. Don't get me wrong. We know DJ is quick, but we just end up leaving him to his own devices. But let's have a little bit look further back here, because it looks like we've got a bit of a train of cars. Ken Housel just about leading that train, but he's got Colin Denner, Franz Hansen, Jake King, and indeed Thomas Lathrop right behind him, all vying to get that third podium position.
Yeah, when you're in a 3-car pack like this, Daniel, or I guess we could call it a 4-car pack if we throw Colin Denner in there, it's very difficult to sort of sight your lines through some of these corners. If you get too close, you know, a lot of precision required through the fast turns in particular. So a bit of bravery is required, and oh dear, it looks like that is Lathrop that's gone off there. Next driver to come a cropper, and it looks like he's crabbing, Daniel.
Yeah, that looks like a suspension failure or something. Andy's got a meatball, so he has to come down to pit lane to fix that. I really do not know. I need to see another angle of that to see anything better. As it looks like that'll be someone's in the pits, someone else. But yeah, just too much curb there, into there, and slightly tap the wall.
That was quite the snap there. It looks like he was counter steering, but unfortunately a little bit too much at that point. Well, he's jumped into the pits, he's gotten a fast repair, and he is back out there, albeit down in 25th position. So a big loss for the driver who started in 7th place. Meanwhile, Diego Del Real has taken the lead from DJ Alessandrini. We better flick up to the front because the BMW is leading, Zippy.
I've got to be honest, it's the first time we've seen it happen so far this season, and power to him. The Puerto Rican driver is very much applying the pressure, but look at the draft there. DJ got an absolutely fantastic exit as he's going to go side by side, but if he wants this corner, he's going to have to go the long way round. Chooses to back out of it. He's going to try and yet again carry on that exit speed and make his way going down the start-finish straight.
Here we go, here's the slipstream. Now Diego Del Real is protecting the inside line to the corner, so he should have a good run through it, but DJ Alessandrini is ahead and later on the brakes. He leaves the room to the inside for the BMW to try and take the exit. Sometimes, Daniel, the outside is where you want to be on the exit. Alessandrini got a great launch.
Yeah, perfect launch, and he's going to have the preferred line through here. Someone's going to have to give. This is really impressive how they've been able. Del Real is able to hold off that attack, but now he's going to have to get the inside here. And this is going to be all race. This is going to be brilliant.
It's like a buzzing hornet on the back of that BMW.
Absolutely fantastic stuff here. You see DJ Alessandrini is no longer on the offense. Well, he's on the offense now, no longer on the defense, no longer in clean air, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole time this is going on, are we going to see Ken Housel be able to join the party? He has indeed started to pull away from Franz Hansen right behind him. There's about 1.8 seconds between him. Denner right in tow as well, bringing Jake King along as well. 3 cars in this battle. Heyman, Mustang, but right now, you got to wonder, is Alessandrini going to be able to find his way by as they make their way down towards turn 1? Diego Del Real defends the inside line once again.
Yeah, you make a very good point about Ken Housel. Looking at the lap times here, Del Real and Alessandrini, they set high 113s on the last lap, 113.9 for DJ. Ken Housel setting a 113.5. In fact, both he and Franz Hansen caught up to our top 2 on the previous lap. The more these guys battle, Daniel, the harder it's going to be for them to both keep the lead as those cars catch up to them.
Yep, that is just when you're battling someone, you're losing time because you're compromising those exits to those corners and the entries and pretty much everything, and you're slowing down, and it's sometimes being the cork in the bottle in this situation. It's not great because you're just gonna have constant pressure, and Alessandrini is just trying to stay with him, but it looks like he might have just used up a bit too much of his tires and is now starting to fall a little bit back here.
Yeah, this is the problem with the new tire model on the GT4 cars. I had the opportunity to test it yesterday when I was racing in a GT4 league. I drove the Mercedes. Oh, hello. There's a McLaren stopped by the side of the circuit. It looks like that might be Jin Huang, I think. No, it's Cameron Guth, who's come to a stop on the run up to turn 1, and he's got a mechanical black flag, so problems for him. Wojtek Hajicek also on the recovery after the spin we saw from him earlier. He's battling with Camden Gruber for the last position in the top 20, and the BMW has the slipstream on the Porsche Cayman. Such a different footprint that these two cars both have. The Cayman is tiny compared to every other car in the GT4 class, but with that, Zippy, comes a bit more of a nimble chassis, some would argue.
Yeah, certainly I myself generally do prefer the Cayman, but it can, as we saw earlier, Wally demonstrated it perfectly, as did Thomas Lathrop. It can be a little bit unstable at times. It just gets a little bit of a wiggle on, and it's pretty uncontrollable at that point. The setup does indeed have a big part of that, but right now, Cooper Van Horn looking to get on the action as well. Dylan Newhart, he's down 13 positions right now. Thomas Lathrop right behind him. He's down 15 positions as well. And even then, Kevin Zhu, not even that far back in the Aston Martin, down 13 positions. So all of these guys are going to be keen to try and find their way forward. Battles happening throughout the field, though. So let's check in here with the Mustang P9 battle here between Brian Carwin and indeed Chris Heidemann.
And Thomas Twomey was a part fight, but fortunately caught the gravel out of turn 3. So Thomas Twomey is the next to join our steadily growing retirements list from this race. Heidemann trying his best. Carwin was a tiny bit slower at the apex of turn 1. And they have to keep an eye out for Chris Harp and Zach Rubin not too far behind. This will be very interesting indeed. Look at the amount of gravel that the Cayman takes there as Rubin continues to give chase. You know what? This battle for the lead isn't going away by any stretch either, Daniel. DJ Alessandrini.
Whoa!
Oh, that is a rare mistake from DJ Alessandrini there. He's usually picture perfect all the way through a race, but wow, that was a big wiggle. That almost jeopardized him.
Yeah, great save there. Like, getting the wiggle through there, you take a little bit too much curb, and car will just start snapping on you. It's not great, and it's very, very difficult to save that, and it requires, like, points. It requires so much precision to do that.
Yeah, so much indeed. Zippy, this is a fantastic battle. I'm really enjoying this. DJ Alessandrini on the back foot for the first time that I've seen, at least this season. And this BMW is looking like a solid contender to win. We can't forget that Alessandrini is the fastest over a single lap, though. So we've got to wait and see if he can find some opportunity to get by.
Yeah, whether there's no pit stops in this race as well, Reese, I think it's going to be an absolutely a grudge match all the way to the end. And honestly, I do prefer a sprint race just for that alone, because realistically, if you got a pit stop, you're thinking about saving fuel, applying pressure and stuff like that. But right now, that's exactly what Alessandrini can do. All he has to do is focus on applying pressure to the back of the Puerto Rican driver, Diego Del Rio. And right now, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Diego, your defensive game is absolutely on point, sir. But how are they going to deal with lap traffic as they are indeed starting to come up on a, I believe that is the McLaren we saw earlier of Cameron Goof. He's currently in 35th.
Yeah, looks like Guth has managed to get going again as Alessandrini sneaks up the inside of Del Real. This will be a very good exit that he's gotten. He's gotten the lead back out of that one. He absolutely nailed the power there. Diego Del Real immediately on the headlight flash, though, Daniel. It looks like we haven't seen the last of this fight. The lap traffic ahead may very well play a part.
Yeah, to get to the inside, it looked like they might have had a little touch there, but that might have been netcode. You couldn't fit a piece of paper between the two of them, and you never know what's going to happen there. I mean, very, very difficult. And now it seems like now that he's in clean air, he's starting to pull a little bit on Del Real, which is, yeah, you know, it's so, the pass was a brilliant pass.
It was very well executed indeed. And well, it looks like Alessandrini is showing us once again that once he gets into the lead, he doesn't look back. Now he can pick up some slipstream off the McLaren of Kyle Lanunziata ahead of him. Lanunziata with his fair share of issues in this race. Both of our leaders move on past. Lanunziata gave that up very easily. He didn't want to interfere in the lead battle, Zippy.
Well, you say that. Let's have a look at the battle that's going on for P4 right now. Ken Housel has been slowly dropping back. The two guys up front able to get a little bit more pace out of it. But Franz Hansen, he's been an absolutely fantastic racer both this season and last season as well. Good to see he has indeed returned. But he's got Jake King right behind him, and indeed Colin Dedder. Adam Kobach not quite there in that battle. He's about 9 tenths per second back. But right now, Franz Hansen, I think he's been under pressure for the entire race so far. Jake King, although he's going beat on iRacing, has not been able to beat him in track position yet. As I say that, almost going side by side, but opens himself up to the number 73 of Colin Denner right behind.
Yeah, Denner was ahead of these guys when we last checked in on this battle, but he's unfortunately had to give up those positions. He's picked up some damage on the right front of that number 73 Mustang as well, so maybe a bit of biffo going on. We're not entirely sure, but the race is almost half done here. Remember, it's only a 30-minute single race for this league. The drivers don't have to worry about reverse grids and feature races and all that. It is just flat out racing for half an hour. And you know what, Daniel? I think it's great to see that, because it's produced some fantastic battles. This one as well will be far from over, as getting into the back of Franz Hansen is Jake King, and that's going to open up the opportunity for Denner to get back by. Yep,
perfect. Sprint racing is all about this, and even in real life, it's foot to the floor, pedal to the metal, just get those battles going, try and get by any means necessary. Well, not any means necessary, but like, it's just straight to the finish. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just focus on the track and the cars in front of you. And it's well, my preferred form of racing to do, because I don't have to worry about anything else. You just focus on the cars ahead of you and trying to make up as many positions as you can in the little time that you have.
It's a great sprint with nearly 40 cars in this field. It makes things very difficult around a tight track like Summit Point. We'll check in with battles further down. Thomas Lathrop, one of the drivers who had issues early on. Same for Wally. Wojtek Hajduczek ahead of him, and Kevin Zhu behind. It looks like this is a battle of the recoverers, Zippy.
Absolutely, and by all means, it's... this is what I love. Oh, that was cheeky! That was cheeky, and it's fair to say he has indeed paid the price for it. Lathrop tries to make a move on corner exit, just ends up making the slightest little nudge, and that Cayman, it's now gone in safari mode, ladies and gentlemen. I had to take to the grass.
I apologize for someone being noisy on my street outside. My street is basically a drag strip for some. Wojtek Hajduczek coming into the pit lane out of that one. I think he might have picked up some damage, either that or he got a black flag to his name after that slight bit of contact. Thomas Lathrop trying to go for the inside at the corner leading onto that back straight. And Hajduczek, well, we're checking his car for damage. Doesn't look like there's much of it. But that's far from ideal for Wally in the number 32, Daniel. He is going to have to do all of that hard work all over again.
Yep, and he's going to have to pass a lot more cars. It looks like it was just a pass-through for him, so probably hit the incident limit and got a pass-through for that, which, I mean, with the chaos this race has produced, it's pretty easy to get to rack up those incident points.
Oh yeah, very easy indeed. Looking back to the battle for 12th place, Anthony Montello and William Brunner in the 98 Mustang ahead. That's a good exit for Brunner. One strength that the Mustang does have is straight line speed. It's pretty uncatchable when you get to tracks with super long straights. It's got that big American V8 under the hood. Montello, meanwhile, in the nimble Porsche Cayman, which has been the car of choice in the GT4 class for quite some time, along with the BMW. The Cayman has I believe, a flat 4 engine, and it's positioned behind the driver, so it can take quite a bit of speed through the corners. It does tend to understeer a little bit, but if you tune it right, it can be the fastest car on the track, as DJ Alessandrini proves at the front. Montello is looking for a move here, but there's nothing he can do. It's covered very nicely, Zippy, by that number 98.
Yeah, he was definitely looking into a gap that was definitely closing, and fair play to him. I would have absolutely stuck my nose in there. Fair play to him, but right ahead of him as well, it looks like Zach Rubin's going to be under a bit of attack. No, that's not. We have a lapped car in the middle of that, ladies and gentlemen. One of the Mercedes. I'm not quite sure who it is. Bear with me a second. Let's see if we can work out who that is. It is indeed going to be Liam Parks, ladies and gentlemen, rocking the AMG ahead of him. Currently about a lap down.
Liam Parks is 2 laps down on our leaders. It seems one of many drivers that's had issues in this particular round, but still holding pretty strong in the Mercedes, which is my personal car of choice in GT4. It's got a planted rear end, and you can really push it hard, but he's making life difficult, is Liam Parks, for this battle. He is spaced out the 2 cars ahead of him, but that's all much of a muchness, really, Daniel. This is sports car racing. Blue flags are advisory only. It is the responsibility of the faster car to make their way around.
Yep, indeed. It is the responsibility of the faster car, and sometimes, like as John Hindhaugh always says, the lap traffic giveth and the lap traffic taketh away. It can take time away from you, you can hemorrhage time, or you could gain tons of time. Well, this isn't multi-class where that would apply more. It still applies when there's lap traffic involved.
It certainly does. Well, Dylan Newhart has made a great recovery up to 16th place. He is getting chased by Camden Gruber in the CGR BMW there, the number 24, with a very striking yellow and black livery, sort of giving me Jordan Grand Prix vibes from that one. But we'll see if he'll be able to hold on to that. He seems he's picked up some damage to the front bumper. Meanwhile, Kevin Zhu, he is back in the top 20 after his unfortunate spin in the opening laps. And we'll see what he can do to find his way past Cooper Van Horn, who is one of the biggest gainers in the field, up 11 places from where he started. But the Hard Charger Award, Zippy, is currently a three-way tie for 13 places gained. Anthony Montello, Timothy Homan, and Charles Spaz Miller, who will jointly hold that title there.
Yeah, definitely not. Whoa, that was pretty good. 2 wheels. Can I get a replay of that? Like, that was fantastic.
Yes, please.
I'm trying.
Yes, please.
I'm going to get creative. I'll see if I can get you one, Reese. Bear with me here.
Oh, man. Yeah. Honestly, Daniel, that's something that we don't see too often at that particular curb. The curbs are quite high in places at Summit Point, but usually the car is just nice and easy over that curb. I haven't seen anyone two-wheel it through there before.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before. Ever. Like, let's take a look at this again. So he's coming through.
Too late, I think.
That looks a bit late. Or no, maybe that's a bit late.
Yeah,
that's the back half of the circuit.
But like, I was like, it's a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. It's like, I only caught the end of that and was like, how is there a car on 2 wheels at that part of the track? My brain doesn't really compute.
Yeah, that's he's certainly pushing hard, isn't he? Well, it looks like Anthony Montello and William Brunner are going to go side by side through turn 3. Just enough room given by Brunner there to allow Montello through on the outside. And he darts across to cover it. These two are fighting for P12, and now Anthony Montello in that 268 is your Hard Charger, up 14 places to P12, Zippy. What a drive.
Yeah, I've got to be fair to him. He worked hard for that pass. There was definitely no easy route given, and fair play to him. It was a beautiful pass. I tell you what, it was so good. Let's watch it again.
Excellent. I love seeing that. Honestly, Daniel, it's all about maintaining side by side through a lot of these corners. They were going at it from the final corner of the previous lap. Fantastic stuff. There's a lot of respect between these guys, evidently.
Yeah, lots of respect. It's all about respect in these kinds of racing. You're going to want to make those clean passes because it doesn't feel right when you crash into someone and stuff like that. It just doesn't make you feel good. What does make you feel good is getting just an absolute belter. Oh, man. Man, I
love this.
Yeah, this is great. Like, this is the balance of performance working perfectly. The different strengths of the different cars. Like, the Mustang, great on the straights, but through the corners, the Porsche has it. You can see it just gets too much. The car gets unruly, and the Porsche's able to sneak by.
Yeah, brilliant job from Anthony Montello and William Brunner. They have given us the exact kind of action that we love to see in the WDCR SCCA League. Chris Harp, meanwhile, at the back end of the top 10, has been chasing Brian Carwin for quite some time. I've been checking in on these guys on my end occasionally, and it looks like it's going to be another Porsche versus Mustang battle. They don't have to worry about anyone behind them for the moment. It looks like the McLaren of L'Annunziata lets them go now too. Next car behind is Zach Rubin there, who is up 11 places to P11, but not a factor in this battle for the moment. And with only 6 minutes to go, Zippy, it looks like it's going to stay that way.
Well, I don't know about the order for it, certainly not, but Brian Carwin is definitely carrying a bit of damage on the front of that Mustang. In theory, he's about a 4,000 I-rating driver, and I do have to wonder, don't get me wrong, Chris Harp is potent, but is that damage maybe what's keeping Brian Carwin within his reach?
That's a very good point. You know, Daniel, if we can bring you in on this, iRacing's damage model, which a few builds ago, cars, the quote-unquote new damage model that they've been working on, it's incremental damage, and you see bumpers deform before falling off, and if the front bumper is deformed like that, it can affect your straight line speed somewhat, a little bit more drag, less clean airflow over the car. So let's see how Brian Carwin deals with that.
Yeah, it's always about, like, the deals, like, it seems like it's hurt his straight line speed enough where he's sort of lost the most of that advantage, as the Porsche seems to be able to keep up on the straights with him, which, like, with that damage, if you lose that, it's a strength, like, it's very hard to negate that, and, like, it seems like it's also hurting his cornering, although that could just be the Mustang normally, because he got a bit of a wiggle through there. Like, let's see what happens coming up here. Like, coming up to this incredibly fast section, he has to get on the brakes. He's just not able to carry as much speed as he was before.
Yeah, the Mustang is usually very punchy on the exits of the corners, but there's not much change between the two of them there. How about a three-way battle then? Jake King at the front of this one for P4, and he's gotten past both Franz Hansen and Colin Denner in the midst of all of this. It is a Porsche in a Mustang sandwich, probably some bratwurst in between two slices of American white bread, Zippy.
Honestly, I was thinking the same metaphor, and now I'm ready to eat. As if it took a lot of convincing. Certainly, but I tell you what, Reese, we haven't done a stream. WDCR, we used to do it the most for. Actually, we haven't done one where we ended up off topic and then made it a whole theme of the show. Fast food has occurred, flying jokes have occurred, and certainly for any league that would enjoy it, I think WDCR would be very much on board that. We'd see just how many bad puns we could get in there, myself and the one and only Mr. Rob Campbell. But right now, Franz Hansen, he's currently down 2 positions, but fair play to him. He was incredibly potent here at Summit Point. 5th place, and not only that, in a 38 car grid is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah, and don't forget, he started 3rd as well, so he should ideally be higher up the field than this. We'll have to wait and see if there's anything he can do in the final 3 and a bit minutes of this race. It has flown by, and we're almost completely at the end of it. So now is crunch time, Daniel. This is where the battles really get decided. You know that you only have about 3 laps to go, so then you start picking where you can make your gains.
Yep, you're going to want to play to the strengths of your car. So the Porsche, you're going to want to keep the speed through the corners. The Mustangs, you're going to want to just be flat to the floor and hope you don't lose so much speed through the corners. Because that's the brilliance of balance of performance. It makes these ends of races so exciting. And as you can see here, it's illustrated right there. He's able to get a bit more speed, but the Mustang's just going to get all that more run. Here comes Denner right behind him. He's looking both ways.
Oh, no! Around he goes and into the wall for Franz Hansen. That is the rear end of the car destroyed. The engine is gone as well. Heartbreak for the number 44. There is nothing more he can do. And Colin Denner may be feeling a bit sheepish after that one. He did see the door open to the inside, but probably didn't consolidate it fast enough for Hansen to realize what was going on. And that is going to be a retirement for Franz Hansen, the man who started in 3rd place. What a shame.
Yeah, definitely an unfortunate event for him right there, and I definitely sympathise. Indeed, the Teddies would be out the pram. But ladies and gentlemen, the difference between being a broadcaster and being a driver is if you're in the driver's seat, it is incredibly stressful, it's incredibly frustrating. If you're in the broadcasting booth, it is nothing but pure entertainment and indeed a little bit of sympathy. But that's what keeps us going, ladies and gentlemen, as right now, Chris Harp is going to need something to keep him going, ladies and gentlemen. He's been applying pressure to the back of Brian Carwood for a good portion of this race. He's got the gap down to about 3 tenths of a second, but indeed time is running out. He needs to find a way to get past his Mustang, and quickly.
Yeah, certainly does. It looks like behind them, Zach Rubin made a mistake coming out of the last corner, and now he's got Anthony Montello for close company. Zach Rubin protects the inside and nails the power out of the corner, so Montello is going to have another opportunity here to gain even more positions. He's up 15 places now to P11. What a huge gain there. Let's see what he can do with Michael Montello out of the race there. So only one Montello left to consolidate, all over the curbs for the both of them. And the lack of stability coming into that braking zone, Daniel, it makes that particular part of Summit Point, I think, one of the most difficult pieces of racetrack on iRacing.
Oh yeah, it is. It teaches you a lot about car control. Like, there's a lot of spins that happen there in the Rookie MX5 sessions. I've done it myself and somehow continued to win that race because everyone kept spinning at that very corner. So it's a very difficult track, and it's arguably one of the hidden gems of the sim.
Certainly is. Brian Carwin is using the straight line speed of his Mustang to good effect there as the white flag is out for these guys, and the battles will continue down to the line. Montello trying to search for something, but the McLaren's in the middle of the circuit, making the pass difficult, so Montello's going to have to find another way through there. We're seeing DJ Alessandrini find his way to the finish now, and we haven't checked in on him in a while because once he got back past Del Real, he did not look back. The gap now sits at 4.3 seconds as Alessandrini exits the final corner and is going to maintain his 100% win record this season with the win here, round 2 at Summit Point. Well done again to DJ Alessandrini, but full credit to Diego Del Real. He gave Alessandrini a run for his money, Zippy.
He absolutely did. We're going to see the league admin, Mr. Ken Housel, make his way across the line, and that will indeed close out our podium. Let's go back to some of these battles here, as Montello has indeed still kept the pressure going on. They've only got a couple of corners left. If he's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, it's I'm going to quote Fame on this one, but it's going to be now or never. Actually, that's Bon Jovi. Please forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we do commentary and not music trivia.
Indeed. Well, that's going to work out in the favor of Zach Rubin, who rounds out the top 10. Next closest battle, Dylan Newhard and Timothy Homan. There's a lot of space between them there. Newhard just getting the gains where he needed to, and it looks like that is the last close battle on the track. Everyone else has more than a second to the next car for position, so it looks like we're going to get this race ended very quickly indeed. Pulling off at the entry to turn 1, and that's going to be the end of a frustrating race for some, a profitable race for the likes of Zach Rubin and Anthony Montello, as well as Timothy Homan, Charles Miller, Will Long, and Jason Rode. They all gained 10 positions or more each. So fantastic job indeed. Last car to get across the line will be Carl Annunziata, who's had his fair share of problems in that McLaren, but now he has the final corner of Summit Point all to himself, and will come across the line duly to take 30th place in the end. So with that, the race session should go official there, and we can go through our results. From round 2 of the WDCR SCCA League, Alessandrini wins from Real and Housel, with Jake King and Colin Denner rounding out your top 5. Then Adam Kobach, Andrew Lunsford, Brian Carwin, Chris Harp, and Zach Rubin will round out your top 10, Zippy.
As we say that, let's go and have a look at P11. Ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed going to be Anthony Montello. As you see that in P12, William Brunner. Dylan Newhard, a little bit of a hard day for him today. He was there in 13th. We never did figure out who it was that was on his car. First time we've ever been caught short on that one, ladies and gentlemen. As indeed, he got P13 for Timothy Homan in 14th. Camden Gruder takes 15th with Charles Miller in 16th, with Kevin Zhu in 17th alongside Peter Lawson in 18th. And closing out your top 20 was Will Long in 19th and Louis Alessi there in 20th.
Finishing in 21st position, Cooper Van Horn, last car on the lead lap there, but gained 8 positions. 10 places up for Jason Rode, but he is a lap down. He's joined by Franz Hansen, who ended his race in the wall after contact. Will Robbins, Trenton McMillian, Tom Radford, Liam Parks, Mike Leader, and Thomas Twomey, along with Carl Annunziata, finishing a long way down. Then Lathrop and Hydrocek, while they were looking for a lot better from that one, started 7th and 13th respectively, ending their races multiple laps down. Same for Cameron Guth, Jin Huang, and Chris Heidemann. We didn't see Jonathan Crane, Michael Montello, or Jeff Barlow take to the start or do laps in qualifying. So that's going to end things for the field here today. We do have one interview lined up. It would appear that Ken Housel, who grabbed 3rd place, is waiting in the interview landing area, so we have the opportunity to have a chat to our league administrator in just a few moments' time. A replay, though, of what happened to the number 13 there of Tom Radford. That is absolutely insane, Daniel. That was the defining incident of the first part of this race.
Yeah, I mean, automotive gymnastics is, and I mean, that spot at Summit Point is legendary. The Summit Point jump is it's a thing that is well known among people. Like, you hit that at the end of the session, send yourself into the tree, and disappear into the ether.
Well, not disappearing into the ether was Ken Housel, who is going to join us momentarily. A fantastic drive indeed from Ken to 3rd place. Only gaining 1 position in that race, Ken, but the numbers don't tell the full story. That was intense.
Yeah, for sure. That was quite the race.
Yeah, very intense indeed. Summit Point, quite a tight circuit to be having such a big field around, but the back front was fantastic. How did you find it navigating the lap traffic towards the end?
Thankfully, all these guys were pretty good about getting out of the way. There was only 1 car or something that I had to follow a bit, but otherwise, not too bad. Like I said, guys did a pretty good job of getting out of the way. Seemed like there was a lot of trouble with cars spinning on cold tires after coming back out of the pits.
Well, in the end, finishing 3rd, so a good haul of points from Summit Point. And I suppose now you turn your attention to next week's racing, Ken. The Mustang has served you well so far, and hopefully it will do so again. Thanks very much for joining us, mate, and congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Well, it looks to me like Ken is going to be the only driver who joins us for an interview, Zippy. But all up, I think a fantastic race to bring off the second little stanza of this WDCR season.
Absolutely, Reese. It was a absolute belter. Using absolute twice, but you know what? I'm rocking it anyway. It was absolutely fantastic. Screw it. 3rd time, why not? I need to read a dictionary, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got to say, there were some fantastic battles, not just at the front of the pack. I mean, it's good to see Alessandrini getting a bit of pressure. Fair play, Diego Del Rio. You'd be my MVP for that action today, as you can see here. Getting right up to that rear wing of that Porsche Cayman there, the number 61 car. But beautiful battles throughout, and definitely a few people did indeed get unstuck. But I do have to wonder how it's going to go over at the next round. Cadwell Park, it's a very tight, twisty track, and I think some of these cars will indeed get airborne in the closing parts of the chicane there at Cadwell Park, my home track, ladies and gentlemen. But I think, Reese, it is just about to bring this show to a close. Before we do, though, Daniel, any closing thoughts from yourself, sir?
Well, that was a great race. I certainly enjoyed it. It was so much action, so much difference, and I mean, Cadwell Park next week? 38 cars of these size around there? What can possibly go wrong?
Absolutely. Well, we'll be looking forward to that one next week. Very narrow circuit at Cadwell Park, but Summit Point brought the action here today. We want to thank you all for tuning in on Pit Road Productions, whether you are on YouTube or on Twitch. We thank you very much for your patronage, and a huge thanks to the WDCR crew for putting this series on and bringing us on to broadcast it once again. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube here to Pit Road Productions so that you don't miss another round of the action here, and get yourself in with a chance. Well, here from Summit Point, it's me, Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box, as well as Daniel Bouchard here on Pit Road Productions. We'll see you again next time.